I'm going to read my notes, just read here. All right, well, guys, it's been a long time since I've had to give a presentation on anything in front of people, so I'll try not to be nervous because you're not mean people. Tonight I'm talking, a little louder, Roger? Okay, tonight I'm talking on food preservation. I'm going to touch on 3 techniques and then focus on the 4th technique. So, in food preservation, our first technique is freezing. Freezing is probably the easiest way to preserve food. The pros and cons of freezing are, the pros are it's easy to freeze. It takes a freezer and a container, either plastic or a Ziploc bag, vacuum seal. Some of the cons of freezing are it requires electricity, and if your power goes out and you don't have backup power, then you could lose a lot of food. It also takes a lot of space to freeze also. So, you might have to have more than one freezer. But some of the easy things are, food defrosts pretty easily and quickly. So it's just an easy way and probably the most common way that people preserve food, I would say. The second technique, so that's all I'm going to say about freezing. Any questions on freezing? Y'all have done it? Excellent. Me too, I still do it. You retain just about all of the nutritional value when you freeze food. You lose some, but we'll talk about these other techniques and you'll be surprised maybe how much nutritional value you can lose with some of the other techniques. So pressure canning is the next one I'm going to talk about. It's been done for centuries, eons. No, I'm just kidding. They're pretty safe as long as you follow the directions. You keep mine is a Presto, but there's also an American pressure cooker, and they have the knobs around them, and they do not have a gasket, and they don't need a gasket because you have 6 or 8 knobs that you crank down. They're very safe. You never, ever, ever open a pressure cooker with any kind of pressure on it, or even when it's hot. Because if you open the pressure cooker and vent it when it's hot, even though the pressure may be gone, you could cause a siphon effect, and that would put the hot water, it would siphon into your jars. And so if you've ever pressure cooked anything and you've taken it out after a while, maybe you open it a little soon, you go, wow, it looks really watery. It could have been because you actually siphoned water into your jar. You opened it too soon. It was too hot. So, and you have to pressure cook things that are not acidic. So I pressure cook chicken. This was before I got my freeze dryer. I mean, I've had my freeze dryer, but I wasn't using it at the time. So you can pressure cook chicken, beef, any of those things. They take, on average, like an hour and a half to pressure cook a quart of chicken. Beans, anything that's not really acidic, you need to pressure cook. Vegetables should be pressure cooked if they're not acidic. So any questions on pressure cooking? Yes?
I noticed you take the rings off your jar. Is that what you do?
Yeah, oh, thank you for asking. So when you do preserve food and you're going to store them, do you know what he's talking about? So let's see, here's a ring. So I only put this ring on to bring it here, so that this is my tomato sauce, and I didn't want the ring to get, okay, I'm going to try really hard, and if I wear it, you can all laugh, to try and get this lid off. And I cannot pry that lid off with my fingers. So I know it's a good seal. And when you're storing your food after you pressure cook your food or water bath it, you should not leave the rings on. So you should always take these off. And the reason is, and you should never stack them on top of each other. So if you're going to get botulism, which can make you sick or kill you, if you're going to get botulism in your food because the bacteria was not killed, then the botulism will grow and this lid will pop. Or it will make a, let's see, I have one here that I didn't, right? It'll make that little safety seal will pop up. So, and then the lid will come off and you would know that there was botulism or a bacteria in there and you would not want to eat it. So I store my food without the rings on and never stacking them on top of each other, because the weight of another jar would stop that from popping, from opening up. So, and as a matter of fact, I did have one jar one time in my life develop like the green mold. Could have been botulism. I don't know what botulism looks like. Do you know, Roger? Does botulism look like mold?
No idea.
I don't know either. But it was moldy inside. The seal had popped, and I just poured it all in the toilet. And then I washed my jar like 6 times. That was probably overkill. I'm sure once a little bit of bleach would have been fine, but I was just like, it was bad inside, and I didn't want to throw the jar away, so I just washed it a lot. So that's why I take the rings off. Great question, thank you. So I'm just gonna put that one back on. So then you can water bath. Let me get a drink. I'll have vodka. Kidding. No, I'm not. You can water bath other types of food that are more acidic. So applesauce has lemon juice in it, it brings up the acidity level. All my fruit I water bath. My jams and jellies I water bath. Even my apple pie filling I water bath. And then tomatoes, of course, are very acidic, and they're water bath stable. Something I just recently learned how to do, my friend has a water bath steamer. So this is new to me, and I have not used mine, but I have water bath steamed. I guess I should say steamed. Pressure steamed, no, water bath steamed. With my friend's water bath steamer. And it's the same as deep hot water bathing. The cool part is if you have a bad back and you don't want to lift up 3 or 4 gallons of water to take it off of the heat, you just put water, this is the base, and you just put 2 inches of water in here. You put your jars in, and it'll hold a quart jar, or it'll hold several, like I think 7 is what fit in here, or anyhow. You put the lid on, you put the water in, you put your jars in, you put the lid on, and then you wait for, there's a dial here in the front, and I don't know if you can see the green on it. Once it gets into the green, that is when you would start timing, like you would water bath once it's boiling. You start timing when it's in the green, and when your time is done, just take it off the fire, or turn however your stove is. I have gas, so I just turn my gas off, and then let the pressure come down, and then I can take. But I don't have 4 gallons. My back is bad. I don't have so much weight to try and move. Even if I take my jars out first, which I always do, I still have all the weight of the water in there. So I'm super excited about this. Like I said, I've steam canned with my friend, and so then I went out and bought my own. So I'm super excited to do my own. Any questions on water bathing? Yes, Roger.
I know some of your jars have more of a headspace, like an inch or 2.
Yes.
Any questions about that, or because normally it's like a 1/4 inch or something?
Right.
Does it matter?
It doesn't. I mean, I've never had anything. No, not to me. It doesn't matter, and I'm not sure to give you the like ball or blue book answer. I've never had problems with however much I've left. I try and some I just take to the 1/2 inch mark, which is that bottom lip right here.
I think it only matters if you're entering in the county fair.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Say it again, please.
It only matters if you enter it in the county fair. Yeah. And so you'll notice that,
No danger of that.
right? On the pressure cooking with my chicken, you'll notice that some of the chicken is out of the liquid. It does not hurt the chicken to sit out of the liquid, even if it discolors. As long as this seal has not popped, it's not going to be bad. It just might look a little different. Yes?
I want to use the glasses, something like that.
Great. Oh, thank you. I forgot. So when you freeze something, you usually have about 1 to 2 years. Some things don't freeze so well for 2 years. We get freezer burn. So with freezer burn, you want to use the things out of the freezer within 2 years. That's kind of the max from what the FDA, Food and Drug, whatever they're the ones who certify. They say within 2 years is max for freezer. With pressure canning, it goes up, and pressure canning or steam bathing, it goes up to 3 years. They say you should use your products within 3 years. did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, great. And then, yes, Roger.
I think Ball says that their new ceiling is good for 18 months.
Really? On the recent,
Yeah, it used to be 12 months, now it's 18 months, and there's more silicone seal.
interesting.
Curious about your 3-year comment.
That's what the FDA guidelines say.
Is it? Okay.
We're up to 3 years. You should use your food within 3 years. If
I
you,
think it's best used. you know,
best used.
You know, your.
Oh yeah, it'll be the
your
best quality.
Go down the longer, well, the same thing, I mean, it's best to use your freezer pretty quickly.
Right, but up to a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2.5 years, but it's gonna be.
The quality will go down. Yeah, chicken and some things will turn mushy. A lot of vegetables will turn mushy if you leave them in the jars or the freezer, or the jars too long. The quality and the texture is what will change. So if texture is a big thing for you, then can what you eat and eat what you can. I mean, you know, and what you can, but not what you can't. So when you freeze, you don't lose a lot of nutritional value. When you pressure can or water bath, does anybody want to take a guess how much nutritional value you might lose? About 60%, 50 to 60% of the nutritional value in food is lost when you do any of these two methods, pressure canning or water bathing. I was a little surprised too, but yet I still water bath and pressure can. So